So CPU mining has kind of been on the back burner in terms of cryptocurrency mining for a while, whilst GPU mining was profitable. Obviously GPU mining has gone and taken a dip off the chart for a second, and it's going to be unprofitable for around a year to a year and a half, I think. But CPU mining is actually becoming profitable. There's a lot of videos going around about how much profits you can make on CPU mining, but I want to personally look at what we can make on different CPUs. So right here I'm on the Wooly Pooly calculator for CPU profits, and right down here we can see that Monero and Raptorium are the ones listed by here. These are basically the two biggest CPU mineable coins. When we look at what to mine, you can see that there's a load of pools for Raptorium, and then if we look at Monero, we can see that there's a load of pools for that as well. Obviously Monero is a bigger coin than Raptorium, but around 6 months ago Raptorium was actually bringing in a lot of profits for CPU miners who had started before the crypto run happened. Now looking back onto the profits of these, we can see that we have Intel side and then an AMD side. The top end AMD cards are normally the Threadripper cards, and these can go upwards of $1,400 to $2,000 per CPU. If we look here, we can see that the prices are pretty high for these, but I would go out and assume that a lot of you already have high-end CPUs that are in this Threadripper series, or you have high-end Intel ones to run your mining rigs. Normally what happens is you'll get a new mining rig, you put a good CPU in because that will then increase efficiency and power draw for your mining. However, the one big problem is that Threadrippers do take up a lot of energy. The 3990X draws about 400 watts of power, and that is a lot compared to GPU mining. Obviously one GPU could pull around 250 watts, but CPUs don't normally pull as much watts as a GPU. Now looking at the Threadripper series, if we go for a 3990X, we can see that the net profit is around $1.19. Obviously this is going to change with the price of Monero or Raptorium, but we'll go over that later. And as you can see down here, Raptorium's making around $1.07. Now if we look at a earlier series Threadripper, let's just say the 1920X, we can still see that we're making profits of around 37 cents per day, which is pretty good, seeming that this is an old CPU, and many of you might actually have some of these old Threadripper series. Most notably though, the Threadrippers are expensive and they have a lot of watts to pull. So if you're not looking to get into CPU mining and you just want to start CPU mining on the CPUs you have, you can check out which ones you want on this Wooly Pooly calculator. Now if we look at Intel i9s, we can see that the 11900K, we can see that it's bringing in around 37 cents per day. This is pretty good, seeming that the Intel i9 is actually way cheaper than a Threadripper. When we look at the price of an Intel i9 11900K, we can see it's around $300 to $400 per CPU, which is a lot less expensive than the AMD side. I'm willing to wager that a lot of you will have Intel CPUs over the Threadripper ones because they are specifically made for different stuff like gaming and stuff like that. Intel is more of an overall kind of CPU generalization. But there are Intel i7s, I know that I've got one on a couple of my rigs. If we just go for the highest end one, we can see that the net profit from one of them is 39 cents per day. So there's actually a lot of profits to be made on these CPUs. Now if you have a lot of CPUs, let's say you have 5 mining rigs and they all have an i7 in them. If we up this number to 5, we can see that we're making a good profit of $1.12 per day, which is way better than the profitability of GPU mining, which is just in the negative right now. So it's viable to actually CPU mine in these kind of climates. Obviously it depends on your electricity price, but if you have certainly low electricity prices, let's just say around 12 cents per kilowatt hour, you should be alright in profitability for CPU mining. Now when we look at the price of Raptorium, as I said, people were getting pretty rich from Raptorium before the crypto bull run because it had a massive price spike. And because people were kind of speculating on CPU mining, they kind of made the right choice, and there was a load of videos about it around 8 months ago. This was very good for the CPU mining community, and a lot of people actually bought CPUs to get into this. So I'm willing to wager that a lot of you might have CPUs left over, which you can put into motherboards, and then you can start mining with CPUs. Obviously the price has tanked, but the profitability is still there according to the profitability calculator. And we could also see a price spike again of Raptorium like we saw back in 2021. Now when we look at the price of Monero for a year, we can see that it hasn't actually dropped too much compared to Raptorium. It's only dropped around half, but this is probably because Monero is a bigger coin than Raptorium. I think it's 11th on the chart of market cap by cryptocurrencies, so it's kind of up, and it's a stable price that's not going to move around as volatile as Raptorium. So if you want to be safe, I'd say we go for Monero mining, but if you want to be a bit more speculative, I'd go for Raptorium mining. Now I know this was a short video, but I just wanted to let you know, and you guys can go explore which CPUs you have and then which ones are profitable. I'll leave a link to this CPU mining calculator in the description below, so you guys can go calculate what profits you're making. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. Also check out the recommended video at the end of this video.